Every dog owner knows this moment. You sit down with a plate in your hand. Maybe it is dinner after one of those long, heavy days. Maybe it is just a piece of toast, a bowl of noodles, or a quiet snack on the sofa when you thought nobody was paying attention. And then, you feel it. That stare. You look down, and there they are. Not barking, not jumping, not doing anything that would make you say they are badly behaved. Just sitting there, still, focused. Watching you like this meal somehow matters to them more than it should. And because their eyes keep drifting towards your food, most people reach for the easiest explanation. They want a bite. And yes, sometimes they do. Of course they do. Dogs are not pretending they have no interest in chicken, toast, cheese, or whatever delicious thing you happen to be holding. But if you think that is the whole story, you may be missing the quiet part. Your dog is not only watching the food, they are watching the moment. They are watching your hands, your face, your breathing, your mood, your routine, your rules. The way your attention shifts when you finally sit down. To you, it might just be a meal. To your dog, it is a moment when you become easier to understand. And what they are really asking may be much softer than, "Can I have some?" Let's start with the most obvious layer. Number 7. Your dog has learned that food changes the room. The second food appears, something in the house changes. You may not notice it, but your dog does. You move a little differently. You slow down. You stop pacing from room to room. The plate comes out. A chair moves. The cupboard opens. A wrapper makes that tiny sound you hoped they would not hear. They heard it. They always hear it. Dogs are very good at noticing patterns. Not in a complicated human way. They are not thinking about your recipe or your schedule. But they are brilliant at connecting small signals to what usually happens next. The fridge door means something. The sound of a bowl means something. The way you carry a plate from the kitchen to the table means something. Even the little pause before you sit down means something. And once your dog has seen that pattern enough times, mealtime becomes more than food. It becomes an event, a signal chain, a little daily ceremony they have learned by heart. That is why some dogs stare at you even after they have already eaten. Their bowl is empty. Their stomach is not desperate. Nothing terrible is missing. But their eyes are still on you. Not always from hunger, sometimes from recognition. They are thinking, in the only way a dog can think it, this thing is happening again. I know this moment. I need to pay attention. That is the first hidden meaning behind the stare. Hunger can create focus, but so can routine. And your dog may know your mealtime routine better than you do. Number 6. They are watching your hands more than the food. This is the part a lot of owners never think about. It looks like your dog is staring at your sandwich, or your fork, or the piece of food closest to the edge of the plate. But watch them closely. A lot of the time, their eyes are not really following the food. They are following your hands. And that makes sense when you think about what your hands mean in your dog's life. Your hands fill the bowl. Your hands open the door. Your hands clip on the leash. Your hands give treats, stroke their head, move them back, invite them closer, point to the mat, hold the toy, lift the blanket, scratch the one place they cannot reach. Your hands are not just hands to your dog. They are signals. They are comfort. They are instructions. They are sometimes permission. So when you eat, your dog studies them. Does your hand move down? Does it turn away? Does it pause near the edge of the plate? Does it drop something? Does it reach towards them gently? Or does it lift with that little "not for you" movement they already know? A tiny gesture that means almost nothing to you can mean everything to them. You might move your hands an inch and forget it happened. Your dog might become suddenly alert, not because they are being dramatic, because they have spent years learning your body like a language. You did not formally teach them every sign. They learned anyway. That is what dogs do when they love someone. They study the smallest movements and turn them into meaning. So when your dog watches you eat, they may be listening with their eyes, and your hands are doing most of the talking. Number 5. They are checking which version of you is sitting there today. Your dog does not only notice where you are, they notice how you are. They know the difference between the way you walk when you are relaxed and the way you walk when your mind is somewhere else. They know the sound of keys dropped gently on the counter versus keys thrown down after a bad day. They know when your voice has patience in it. They know when it has run out. They know when you are smiling for other people, but your shoulders are still tight. Dogs may not understand the story behind your mood. They do not know about the email, the traffic, the argument, the bill, the thing you kept replaying in your head all afternoon, but they often notice the shape it leaves on you, the shorter movements, the heavier steps, the distracted hand, the face that is there but not really there. And mealtime can reveal a lot. When you finally sit down, you may soften without realizing it. Your shoulders drop, your breathing changes, your face loosens a little. For the first time in hours, you stop moving, and your dog sees that version of you, the quieter one, the more reachable one, the one who is not rushing out the door, answering messages, cleaning something, fixing something, thinking about the next thing. That is why some dogs settle more easily when you eat calmly, and why others seem restless when you eat in a hurry, standing up, distracted, tense, half in the room and half somewhere else. They are not only reacting to the food, they are reading the atmosphere around you. To your dog, your mood is part of the furniture. It changes the room. And when they stare at you during a meal, they may be asking something very simple. Are you okay today? Number 4. They are asking, what are the rules today? This is where a lot of well-meaning owners accidentally make the stare stronger. One day, you share a tiny piece. The next day, you say no. One evening, you let them sit right beside you. Another evening, you tell them to go away. Sometimes the stare makes you laugh. Sometimes it irritates you. Sometimes you give in at the end of the meal. Sometimes you ignore them completely. Your dog notices all of it. Not with bitterness, not with a plan to outsmart you, not in the way a person would keep score. They learn through patterns. And if the pattern keeps changing, they keep checking. That stare may not be a demand. It may be a question. What kind of meal is this? Is this one of the times I wait quietly and get something at the end? Is this one of the times I stay far away? Is this one of the times you forget the rule? That is why consistency can feel kinder to a dog than we realize. A clear no, given calmly, can be easier for them than a maybe that changes every night. Dogs do not only need affection. They need something steady around the affection. A rule they understand. A place they can relax inside. When a dog knows what is expected, their body can settle. They do not have to keep testing the air. They do not have to keep watching your face for clues. But when the rule changes all the time, the stare continues. Not always from greed. Sometimes from uncertainty. And that is an important difference. A dog who is begging wants the food. A dog who is unsure wants an answer. Number 3. They want to be near the center of the family. Think about the places your dog chooses during the day. It is not always the softest bed. It is not always the warmest corner. Very often, it is the place where they can keep track of you. A doorway, the hallway, beside the kitchen, the awkward patch of floor between 2 rooms, the place that makes no sense for comfort, but perfect sense for connection. Dogs like to know where their people are. Their comfort often comes from being close enough to feel included, but not always close enough to be in the way. And during meals, the center of the home shifts. Even in the quiet house, something gathers around the table. Chairs move, plates settle, voices change. The rushing pauses for a while. If there is a family, the family gathers. If you live alone, the moment still gathers around you. And your dog wants to be near that. Not only near the food, near the center, near the place where the day finally slows down, near the person who matters most. That is why a dog may look confused or even a little hurt when you take your plate into another room and close the door. From your point of view, you just wanted to eat in peace. From their point of view, the important moment happened without them. And for a dog who is bonded to you, being left out of the moment can feel bigger than missing the bite. They may not need to be on your lap. They may not need a piece from your plate, but they often want to be nearby enough to feel that they are still part of the household rhythm, that they have not been pushed outside the invisible circle. And sometimes that quiet stare is not saying, "Give me that." It is saying, "Can I be here too?" Number 2, they are looking for permission to belong without causing trouble. This is one of the gentlest meanings behind the whole behavior. A dog who feels close to you does not always try to interrupt. They may not bark. They may not jump. They may not shove their nose into the plate. They may just sit there, a little distance away, watching carefully. And humans often call that begging, because we are focused on the food. But from the dog's side, it may feel more like asking for permission. Am I allowed here? Is this too close? Are you still comfortable with me beside you? Do I still have a place in this quiet part of your day? A dog's life is full of tiny permissions. Permission to come closer. Permission to rest near you. Permission to follow you from one room to another. Permission to wait without being pushed away. Permission to exist beside you when nothing exciting is happening. And that last one matters more than people think. Dogs do not build trust only through the big moments. Not only through walks, toys, treats, training, and play. A lot of the bond is built in ordinary moments where nothing dramatic happens. You eat, they lie nearby. You glance down. They blink slowly. You say their name in that soft voice you use when nobody else is listening. Life continues. Nothing bad happens. That is not empty time. That is safety being built in the background. Slowly, quietly, one ordinary moment at a time. And when your dog sits near you while you eat, they may not be trying to take something from you. They may be trying to stay inside that safe little space with you. Number 1. They are not only asking for food. They are asking for a signal. This is the part that can change the way you see the stare. Yes, your dog might enjoy the taste of whatever you are eating. Of course they might, but the deeper reward is often not the food by itself. It is what comes with it. The glance that says, I see you. The soft word that says, you are okay. The calm boundary that says, not this, but you are still welcome here. The safe treat later that says, I did not forget you. Dogs do not experience love as a theory. They experience it as repeated signals. You came home. You opened the door. You filled the bowl. You noticed when they followed you. You moved over on the sofa. You touched their head as you passed. You made room. Again and again, in small ways, you answered the same quiet question. And at mealtime, that question often returns. Maybe not as a thought. Maybe not in words, but in the body. In the stare, in the waiting, in the way they look from your hand to your face and back again. The question may not be, can I have your dinner? It may be something closer to, am I still included? And the answer does not always need to be food. Actually, it should not always be food. Some human foods are dangerous for dogs. Some table habits create stress. Some dogs become more anxious when every meal turns into a negotiation. And some dogs need a calm rule much more than they need another snack. But a boundary does not have to feel cold. You can say no to the food and still say yes to the relationship. You can ask your dog to lie on their mat and still speak to them kindly. You can give them a safe dog treat after the meal instead of sharing from your plate. You can smile at them without making every stare successful. You can keep the rule clear and the bond warm. That is the balance dogs understand best. Not chaos. Not rejection, a steady rule with love inside it. Because what your dog needs most is not constant access to your food. It is the feeling that your affection does not disappear the moment the plate arrives. So the next time your dog appears when you sit down to eat, pause before you call them greedy. Look at the whole moment. The still body, the careful distance, the eyes moving from your hand to your face, the way they wait for the tiniest sign. The way they seem to understand that something meaningful is happening, even if they cannot explain what it is. Maybe they do want a bite. That can be true. But maybe they also want reassurance. Maybe they want the comfort of the routine. Maybe they want to know what the rule is today. Maybe they want to sit near the center of your world for a few quiet minutes while the day finally slows down. And maybe that stare that used to make you feel guilty can become something else. Not a problem. Not a performance. Not just begging. A small conversation, a familiar ritual, a reminder that your dog is always reading the spaces between your actions. Not because they are difficult, not because they are spoiled, but because you matter that much to them. To your dog, love is not proven by one grand gesture. It is proven in the answer you give again and again to one simple question. Is there still room for me here? And every calm glance, every gentle rule, every safe little kindness can answer it. Yes, there is still room. You are still part of this. You still belong.